last question is that I know it's right after the fight. Have you feel yet the significance of this win and what it means in your legacy and your career?
To be honest, when I set my sights on doing something and I know what I'm capable of, it's not like a surprise to me. It's a surprise to y'all because y'all didn't believe me, you know? But for me, I knew I could do it and I believed that I could do it. I just needed the opportunity.
Terence, when did you know that you were going to beat him over here on your left?
When he signed the contract.
Yes, stats will go over all of that, but that thing there is the main driver behind the results of what happened Saturday. You either identified that or you didn't. All right, so we know Terence Crawford did it. He beat Canelo Alvarez. So that's what I want to cover today. Let's cover how he did it, why he beat Canelo. Let's not just point out the obvious, the stats. Let's go a little bit deeper. Why did I predict last week that this was going to happen? Where majority of people predicted the other way. So let's start with the experts, right? Let's start with all the analytics out there that have been pumping around over the last couple of months about who's, the Canelo train and how he's going to take this fight. Let's look at the stats first from the experts. So yeah, man, the official score. So we got 116 to 112, 115 to 113, and then 115 to 113. So Crawford outlanded Canelo. Basically, he threw 115 punches to Canelo's 99. According to CompuBox, Crawford used his jab work, as he showed. His footwork was on point. His switch hitting, we all knew that was going to happen. And he showed a whole lot of composure to complete the pace. And yes, majority of people looked at this fight as, yes, Crawford came up to weight divisions. Is that going to pose a problem? Is he going to be able to withstand Canelo's punch? Can he do that? Has he faced anyone to this magnitude? No, he has not. So that was unclear. Could he even stay in the pocket, which obviously the game plan for him that I had was to not stay in the pocket, in and out, use the jab work, switch hit all night long, focusing on precision and speed. Never in a million years did I think Crawford would end up knocking out, Canelo. My concern and many other concerns was like, is he even going to have an impact on Canelo's chin? So despite of, him moving up 2 weight classes, he refused to have Canelo dictate the pace of that fight. And we saw that. We saw that in early rounds. We all knew Crawford was the underdog. Everyone had him. Majority had him, on the stats as the underdog. But Crawford flipped the script with adaptability, range control, and then even late round stamina play to play. So those are all the strategy components as to why you won. I didn't pick Crawford's win last night from that strategy, from those stats. Let's face it. This is Canelo, the face of boxing. He doesn't have to prove himself. We all know what Canelo is about. We know his accomplishments. We know he is the top of his game. So strategy is strategy, but let's look a little bit deeper. Okay, let's look at why I chose Crawford when everyone else went the other way with Canelo. Let's show why there's a select few that kind of agree with me. And I put this in my last video. I want to go past the stats for a second and really uncover what everything came down to me choosing Crawford. Because at the end of the day, those stats that we went through don't explain the why. Don't explain the how. You see, Crawford wasn't just technically ready. He was emotionally and spiritually ready. He believed going into that fight, he was going to win well before the first bell rang. And belief, that's not measurable on any betting slip or CompuBox, right? Like we can't see that because he accepted insane terms for this fight. He did. A 2 weight class jump, no rehydration clause, meaning Canelo could have walked into that ring at any weight. He didn't care. Crawford didn't negotiate, right? It wasn't a whole story back and forth like we see with someone like Fury and all those shenanigans. Like there was no issues here. He didn't complain. He just accepted and prepared. And then in the ring, he showed that switch flick mentality. Like Teddy Atlas. If you follow Teddy Atlas, it's the best way I could explain it. How Teddy talks about like a fighter will find a way. That is Crawford. And he's done it countless times over and over and over again. He's proved it. He's rise to the occasion. He's had this increased intensity that came out of his ass. And the thing is we didn't know how much Crawford could absorb of someone like Canelo's pressure until he did. We saw him sitting in the pocket. That's the one thing. Yes, I predicted that he would win. The one thing I strategically knew is that he could not stand in the pocket with Canelo or he was done. But guess what? He did. He absorbed the fire and he fired back and he chose moments to outthink Canelo, outthink and outfight. Crawford's edge wasn't just skill. It was an unshakable self-belief. Like, look at his life tests, career adversity, his entire journey. All of it hardened him for that moment. And most of us didn't see it. While analysts and fans argued over the weight thing and the overall odds, like Crawford just simply knew. He knew he was going to win. His quiet confidence, most people in the build up to this story missed it. They missed it. Let's be clear here. Canelo didn't show up dated, didn't show up old, didn't show up rusty. He wasn't hesitant. He didn't lack any aggression. He was that iconic figure we know of, that we all love, and he pressed. He threw fire, man. He brought the fight. And that's what makes this win even more remarkable for Crawford. Crawford didn't beat a fading legend. He beat the best Canelo had to offer that night, in my opinion. And that's the rare power. That's the rare power of Crawford. He has the ability to raise his level based on the opposition. We've seen it before. This part here, we could not measure it. We didn't know how and how much he could flick that switch until it happened before our eyes. And that's something you can't train, right? You ask any seasoned coach out there, that's something you can't train. You can't learn it. You either have it or you don't. And if you have it, the question becomes as to what level do you have it at? And yes, that's why I called this fight outside of the stats. It was too hard just to go through these stats. I knew we weren't going to see a knockout from Crawford. I knew that. Instead, we all saw a momentum building performance. It's exactly what we saw. And he elevated his game as Canelo brought it. He stayed in the pockets on purpose to prove he could fight fire with fire. I wasn't just looking at the rational fight Crawford was facing. It was about watching his quiet actions in the buildup, step by step. I saw the confidence. I saw the calmness. I could see the belief. And that's the truth. Skill wins rounds. Strategies win fights. I get it. But willpower and belief, that's what makes fucking history. And on this night, Crawford proved he could elevate beyond even a prime aggressive Canelo. This wasn't just about punches thrown and rounds scored. It was about a fighter showing us the rarest gift in boxing, and that's the ability to rise above the moment, right? We see that in Usyk also. Rising above the moment, above the odds, and above one of the sport's greatest champions, Canelo. Let me know your thoughts on this, guys. I know there was strategy that I think most people agreed on, which was, if Crawford had a shot, was just speed, his precision, in and out, not staying in the pocket, switch hitting, all of those things that we see and we know him to have accomplished in prior fights. And we know what Canelo was bringing. We know the grit of Canelo. We know his strong jaw. We know he was going to be an extreme challenge. So it's hard to go from strategy to strategy. This fight was never done before. We didn't know. So having said that, when you take all the strategies, and add in the other elements that I believe, pulled out the win for Crawford. Crawford knew the second he walked into that ring, he had that belief. It was unmistakable. And anyone that was looking at his quietness and his reaction and just his actions of the buildup of this fight, it was hard not to question that level of conviction. And that's why I knew Saturday night, Crawford was going to pull out for the win. So I hope you like this one. If you like it, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.